Evening all. So let's have some more run and gun fun. Now, where to start with this one? This was a weird match. This was probably one of the most, I guess, aggressive, closest, most fun battles I think we'd had in a long time. And it was a skirmish, an instant battle skirmish. And everything about it was just pretty hardcore. So it's like literally straight off the bat, I run with my proto scout to A, and I'm assailed by a shotgunner, and it's just like, wow, I've not seen that before. It was pretty cool, and I think certainly the two teams on this one were just so evenly matched. It was I guarantee you this is a really good match. Maybe before we get into it though, let's have some quick updates. Obviously last video we spoke about the Alliance. The Alliance is going quite well now. I think we've got maybe 4 corps in or certainly in stasis to join. Just a reminder, if you want to join, that's perfectly fine. Just have a chat with us, or just let us know somehow. And even if you're a corp of 1, it's actually fine. We don't mind that. I think it's it's more about, I guess, let me address it actually, because this is kind of like the elephant in the room, if you know what I mean. A lot of people are kind of contacting us with the same story at the moment, and it's a bit disappointing, because even some of the kind of really top end corps are they're kind of hemorrhaging people because quote, their elite players are just running all of the corp battles, and there's really nothing left for the general members to do other than, well, just run instant battles. And this really, it kind of annoyed me a bit, because certainly one of the mantras we've got, and I know it's not going to make us terribly successful in every way, but we don't want to be elitist. We come from a long line of corporations in EVE, and over 10 years of playing and knowing each other, we've had 10 years of dealing with elitist dickheads, and we just kind of sick of it. We've never called ourselves elitist. We were part of alliances that always basically were kind of like a comedy clown car, and that was by choice, because the last thing you want is to have some form of elitist, kind of people who are taking it maybe a little bit too seriously, for example. And we've had people kind of come to us and say, well, I'm in some of the top corps, but in fact, one case in particular, I won't name the corps, but they said basically they have the elite, core of people who run everything. So anything kind of serious, like corp battles and, well, I guess corp battles, are run by the same, I think he said 20 people. So if any of those 20 people are online, which the law of averages says they always are, then they run whatever is going, and basically common troopers don't even get the chance to do a corp battle, and that kind of annoyed me, because again, I don't think well, it's a game. Let's not lose sight of that. I know sometimes we sound like we take it very seriously ourselves, but I guarantee you we're not. Pretty much most of our membership are either high or drunk or pretty much euphoric on something, and I think that's kind of the way we are. We don't want to take these too seriously, and I think it just upset me a bit that a lot of players are just getting ever so lethargic with the game, because the elitism of some of the autocratic groups of people are certainly kind of blocking people have more fun, and that's certainly not what we believe. And this is a shameless plug, obviously, leading up to a shameless plug anyway, because in TUL and Darkstar Army, we will just fight with whoever we've got, with whatever we've got, and if we lose, we lose, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if we lose, does it? And I think certainly when it comes to even districts, who cares? If we lose, we'll get another one. If we lose, then it'll be a laugh. You know what I mean? The moment that I think people start taking this a little bit too seriously, myself included, because there's times when I get so frustrated with this game, but then when I kind of take a breather and take a sip, I realise actually it's funny and it's lovely that I'm that engaged with the whole thing. But I should chill out. So I don't know, I've probably spoke long enough about that, but I think if you're in a corp where you're finding maybe participation is limited to a few, or if you're in a corporation where there is just nothing happening, feel free, make an alt. You don't have to lose your main. You leave your main in the corp. If you want to remain loyal, that's perfectly fine. Just make an alt and join us. And we're an incredibly active corp at the moment, and we have, I think, on average something like 30, 40 people on all the time. We're always generally doing corp battles, although we had about a week's lull. But in my Kerbal space mission video, which is coming very soon, you'll see why. It's literally like snowballing crack in your eyeball. That game is so addictive. but you'll see that. But I think certainly when it comes to DUSTS, don't play alone, and don't play in a corporation that's really kind of not doing anything. Just create an alt and come on in, and we'll do some stuff. Crikey, that was a very long plug. That's half the video talking about like this. So let's talk about something else. Alliance is doing really well. We're having some really good feedback, some great stuff. If you've got an Eve Corp, that's perfectly fine to join up. Just bear in mind, we own nothing. We have no TeamSpeak yet. We've got nothing. We've just set this the Alliance up. So if you join an Eve, you're going to basically enjoy Empire. So don't jump in just yet. But in DUSTS, we're certainly now forming up what we hope to be a good bulk of people who we're not going to be greedy with districts. We just at least want one. But at the end of the day, it's going to be some fun seeing how all that works. Playing with the mechanic and getting in there. And I think so. Certainly, if you're interested, if you've got a corporation, or if you're just looking for some group to play with, then come on in. Okay, so how's this match going? Well, this match I think was just a weird one. Every single point was counter-hacked and then counter-hacked back. The guys who were fighting were just astonishingly good players. It was a joy to fight against players like this. And I think certainly the beauty of this is nobody gave up. We didn't give up, they didn't give up, and we just basically both went for it. And as you can see, it's phenomenally close, particularly in terms of the MCC battle. I would even say we're slightly on the back foot, but this was, I think, one of those matches that you really kind of hope you get, every once in a while, because it was just, counter thrust, attack, riposte, just all good, really, really good. Tactical stuff, and every time we thought we had a bit of an advantage, the advantage crumbled very quickly. But let me show you why. I think, again, I've said this many times before, if you are aggressive in this game, you will win at this game, and that is it's true of that in anything, to be honest. Even though if you want a life lesson, be aggressive. I think there's nothing worse than lethargy. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing worse than people who are a bit kind of meh. Because if you like that, then you necessarily won't, you won't dominate. But again, you have, like I said earlier, don't take it too seriously. But be aggressive. If you see someone, go for them. If you think you've got a good shot, take it. It's funny how I think a lot of people kind of back off from groups of players. I think a lot of people are kind of, they're very cautious players, particularly when they're starting to get owned a little bit. They kind of go and snipe. In fact, we should come up with a name for that, because it's almost like a state of mind. It's like, you've not beaten them, you've made them snipe. Maybe that's the meme we'll go with it. We hit them so hard we made them go snipe. So just a little expose on here on the laser. Look at that, isn't that awesome? I think this is why I love lasers. I am not a damage mod user though. I know I should, but I'm kind of one of these players who likes to get in the mix of things. I don't like to just sit back and plink at people. As you've seen, I've probably used my SMG more than my laser this map, and that's becoming a bit of a trend. I mean, I know SMGs are just horrendously broken at the moment. I mean, if you use an SMG, you'll be agreeing with me as I'm sure I'm saying this, but the SMGs are up close, not from a range obviously, but SMGs are just ridiculously powerful. They have an incredible rate of fire, and I think as long as you can kind of spray in the right direction, then you're doing well, and you'll probably get the kill. It's incredible. I take on shotgunners, and probably 50% of the time I win, just because the scout suit's hard to hit as well. So I think if you're going to consider maybe a secondary gun as a permanent secondary gun, I would really recommend the SMG. However, I've also heard a lot of good stuff about the pistol as well, and I'll give the pistol a bit of a try maybe when the replan comes, because it'd be nice to have maybe both the SMG and the pistol as secondary options. And I think the pistol as well has got an incredible punch on it, so if you're a good shot, then it's not bad at all. Myself prefer the SMG. So I think in terms of how I use my weapons as well, in terms of the combo, I really enjoy the kind of lasers and SMG, because it gives me long mid range, and it gives me very close short range, which pretty much suits my playstyle. So let's maybe have a chat about the replan. Now I'll talk about this more maybe in a later video, because I actually kind of want to make a bit of a thing about this. I think there is something coming that I'm sure most of you are aware of, which is the new patch will allow you to replan your skills. Okay, now what that means is you can basically reallocate certain points, and you'll be refunded maybe even certain ISK as well for skill books, etc. Okay, so what I would heartily recommend you do is you do not spend them immediately. Okay, and we'll look at why this is probably not a bad thing to do in just a moment, because you want to really skill up what effectively is going to be what you want to do. For example, I got vehicles level 5, and I've got like very high dropship skills. I've got pretty high tanking skills as well, and I don't use either of them, so that's a waste of this character. If you're going to do a tanking character, maybe make a separate character and do it on a separate alt. That way you're not going to, I mean, again, specialization, I know I've said this many times, specialization is the way to win at EVE. You know, a 2 million skill point character in a battleship who is spec'd for it is going to kill a 20 million skill point character who's got general skills in everything. I say that generally, not in all cases, but you see how I mean though. You know, if you've got that kind of spread, then I'd heartily recommend you look first at what the changes will bring you. So there we go. While I was jibber jabbering, we won, and again, wonderful battle. Props to everyone involved. It was a really good. It was invigorating battle. It was one of those ones where it wasn't a red line either way. It was actually quite close, and you can't ask for more than that really. So huge amount of skill points, huge amount of ISK, all very nice. And in terms of the skill board, the kill board, there we go. Oh, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, lovely jubbly. So there we go. It was a really good match. Hopefully you've all had similar ones like this, and next time we'll certainly talk more about that skill reset. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.